All right, you guys. Um, okay, so we are here today talking to Chris Wilkins from Root Baking Company, owner, baker, had a bakery in Charleston and is now in Atlanta. We are also talking to Russell from Narrowway Farm down in McDonough, Georgia. And my name is Lauren Cox. I work in the farm to restaurant program, farmers and chefs to kind of fortify and uh, give space for relationships like the ones you two have together to happen and try to push the farm to restaurant movement and this type of sourcing by restaurant owners and chefs in Atlanta. So we're going to talk to y'all today about your experience in being on either side of the farm to table relationship, and a little bit about y'all's relationship and what it's been like to work together. So thanks for joining.
Great to be here.
Oh yeah,
Y'all are
great to be here.
Aw. Okay, so let's start by just talking a little bit about how you both met and just a little bit about your relationship. Russell, all again.
All right, so man, I think it's been like 2 years now, and
Early days,
we,
man.
yep, I tell you, and our farm out in McDonough, we have blueberries, and someone I think asked someone, hey, you know what? These guys want some blueberries. I spoke to Matt at the time, and was able to supply blueberries, and that was it. I mean, it started with I think 2 boxes, and now I think I dropped 40 pounds today. So
Yeah. I think that's right. And I also, gosh, I somehow remember the farmer chef mixer. I think we were already buying from you then, though. But
yeah,
maybe we were just all friends at that point. But that was that's when and then they're just the best blueberries, and so I basically just I'm in love with this man's fruit. So anything he grows, we buy. So we've kind of worked that way. So yeah, that's about right.
That's so awesome. So yeah, so what, for everyone that's listening in, what Chris is referring to is last year, the first year of the farm to restaurant program, we we hosted a little farmer chef speed dating mixer, and a bunch of the farms in the farm to restaurant cohort were able to meet a lot of chefs from around the city. Chris and his partner, Matt, formerly at the time, were able to come, and I think there were 14 farms and maybe 12 restaurants that showed up, which was kind of perfect because, you know, you're swapping every like 7 minutes. But that's what they were talking about. And yeah, that was such a cool experience.
Yeah, we also got along really well too, which to me is like the I don't know. I mean, I don't want to step on further questions, but like it's like relationships like this are fun because first of all, yes, you get to buy fruit from your buddy, but also like you just kind of check in, see what's happening, and it's just fun to catch up. Like that's really the benefit, one of the main benefits for me of like local sourcing. Like we tend to I think all of us in any industry tend to like just be in this little bubble, and so like it is really fun to breath of fresh air when someone from outside that industry comes to your own or vice versa, and you're able just to kind of catch up and see what people other than chefs or bakers or butchers, I guess, are thinking about. And that's like been a really fun part of this for us. It's just like it puts you in touch with the seasons in a way that we exist for us in a more abstract way, and for Russell I think exists in day to day. You're just thinking about the weather and what's growing. That's been fun to learn about from Russell, from you.
Yeah. what do y'all talk about generally? Like, what are some of the things that y'all talk about when you, Russell, like when you come to drop produce to Chris? Like, what what do y'all?
I got one main question.
What's that? What's that?
When are blueberries coming?
When can I get more?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what, listen to me, you know, one of the biggest joy, you know, when you're a small farmer, you have the opportunity to kind of interact with, you know, whether it's a customer, you know, whether it's a small person that comes to buy, you know, a bunch of kale, or like Chris, who's, you know, is buying a ton of blueberries or figs or whatever is in season, you know, whatever fruits in season. You have, you can, you know, you see, hey, how's everything going? And it's really, it gives me a little joy to see that someone appreciates the, you know, the fruit itself and the effort that goes into making it. So, I mean, we talk about, hey, you know, sometimes I think some seasoned peppers or something else, or how is, you know, how his life is going, you know. It's so, I think today I even dropped off some figs. You know, we just started having some figs,
You
and
did.
dropped some
Oh,
just from the sample, you know, just
yeah.
see how, you know, to get going. So it's kind of a, it's like seeing, you know, a distant, you know, a high school friend, and you're in college. So every now and you say, hey, what's going on? And you kind of just catch up, see how everything's going, how the business going. And so it's, that's you know, how it goes on when we meet.
Yeah.
That's
We
awesome.
also buy kale from you too. In fact, I think we got to buy some more.
Really good.
Like that kale. So like we did, you know, I think one of the reasons like this has been a really good relationship for us is because like we have all these uses for what Russell grows, and everything you grow, man. It's just like we want to put this in front of as many people as possible, right? And that's like a much more fun way to make food than to say like, I have this in mind, I'm going to call around till I find it. It's much more fun when you bring by figs or you know,
Mhm.
whatever's around, and we say like, what can we do with this? We got to figure it out because I just bought 40 pounds. that's kind of how my staff is like, all right, here we go. Right.
Yeah. So
And
like,
then let's come up with something cool.
have you been like that? Like, I guess my question to you, and something that I'm curious about as a non-chef, is like, and I'm sure a lot of farmers are curious about this too, is like, when does that start happening? Like, what made you, how long have been sourcing from farmers in the first place, and kind of what made that type of sourcing decision happen for your business? If you could talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. So I think this speaks to larger ideas of like your just like habits. And I think one of the things, Russell, you and I kind of jive about is like we have a similar. There's just a similar mindset that like if you're gonna, this is so much darn work to do this, to farm, to grow something is so much darn work, to make it into food is so much darn work, and there's not a ton of money in either trade, of course. And so like if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it with the highest standards possible, and that's why we buy your stuff, you know. And so like it's just it makes the job a lot easier because I don't know anything about, I mean, besides like just a home gardener growing something like anything like what Russell does. And so like he knows everything about it. And so I'm going to ask him if I've got questions or what we can do with this, what kind of flavor profile it has. And then we just follow your lead, you know, because I'm sure you eat your own produce, right? Is the idea. And so I think it just goes back to like a habit thing, which is like, you know, I was fortunate enough to learn from people who work this way. And so I don't know any other way to source, you know. And I think it's the other fun part, I think too, is Russell, when you come to Root, like you don't interact with just me, you see all the other people there, you know. And I'm sure you talked to, you know, someone there today who had, I'm sure, asked about figs or something. And so like, that's like kind of creating another generation of people who will eventually open bakeries or restaurants, and they won't source a different way because they're going to say, well, I got to find Russell in my life, you know. I gotta find a Narrow Way Farms, you know.
Yeah. Well, Russell, what do you think, you know, is the key to a great farmer-chef relationship? And it's been so key for you and Chris.
Well, I think one of the things is you have to, you know, it's nice to have things that people want. That is a key. You know, it's if you have everything if you have the same thing everybody else has, it's kind of difficult to create a relationship because you don't stand out. You're just another person. But I think if you have a decent temperament and you're, you know, I think one of the meetings we had, I brought some samples of some seasoned peppers, and you know, I was like, hey, you know, hey, try this out.
You said to give it to my wife, and I did. It was, yeah. She put it in curry goat. It was so good.
Exactly, this curry goat's great.
Yeah.
So you know, it's more than just, hey, how you doing, and you know, and here's your stuff. Thanks for my check. Goodbye. You actually have to, you know, ask how you doing. You have to actually care about what they're doing, and you know what? I find it just kind of exciting, just the fact that I'm blessed enough to be able to grow this thing, but to see someone turn it into, you know, something that's beyond what I could even imagine. It just makes, you know, it gives me joy. So if you need to kind of have that desire to kind of want to see, you know, what you've grown become more, and you know, trust that this person's going to do it, and just, you know, so you kind of have to have respect for, you know, for the chef or the baker that you're selling your stuff to.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's well put. I think that's what I think that's exactly. It's just like mutual respect for someone's expertise, and also like, you know, great farmers make chefs better. I doubt. I'm not sure that good chefs make farmers any better than they are, frankly, but I think they make us better, for sure. You know, because
I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think it's cool. Well, so I know that, you know, y'all have been in this relationship for going on almost 2 years now, and bringing it back to today and the situation that we find ourselves in now with COVID, and everyone's talking about COVID because that is the world we're living in. I feel like pivot is the word of the year that everybody says. It's like pivot this, pivot that. So can you just give us all a little insight, you know, from both of your perspectives, really quickly, about how COVID has affected your business as a farmer selling to restaurants, and you as a restaurant owner and a bakery owner sourcing from farms, so that Georgia Organics members that may not be farmers and may not be in the restaurant industry kind of understand what that means in the relationship in the context of COVID. Whoever can go first.
Go ahead, man. No, go ahead.
Yeah, well, from our standpoint, we've this is like our 4th year at this current location, and we've kind of been evolving and refining our business model to kind of to be successful. And before COVID, we had planned to shift to more of a wholesale model, and once COVID came in, that real restaurant hotel thing, it like ground to a halt. So we had to kind of readjust of how we interact with the restaurants, and to be more kind of understanding of, hey, you know, you're not, you know, selling to 150 plates anymore a day. So you know, we're doing takeout. So it's a different in terms of price points, and and in terms of flexibility on what they really need, you know, for that kind of environment. So we've had to kind of do some adjustments, adjust back to more of a kind of a interacting more on like a CSA or personal, I should say in-person selling, you know, like markets and things like that.
Retail, like direct retail.
Exactly, more direct retail. And but it's good. We've seen, you know, it's good that we've seen that some restaurants are starting to open back up here and there, and Roots a good example, and we've been able to have ourselves available and have the product available to be able to kind of provide to restaurants as they kind of open up incrementally.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Russell. Chris?
Yeah, I think too, part of our strategy, we're pretty well diversified, because we sell bread not just not out of the cafe. We also sell wholesale stuff, and we have pastries, and we go to a pretty busy farmers market, which is frankly where that we sell, a good bit of kale croissants at that farmers market, and that's kind of where we like to feature. In fact, Russell, your work is in three of our 6 pastries that we offer, right? And that's how, right? And that's we wouldn't have it any other way, because it tastes incredible. If people are like, is it good? Like, obviously it's good. Just it's like, this is a beautiful blueberry. We just tried not to screw it up, or you know what I mean. And so that's how we approached it. But I will say too, especially with our diversified kind of portfolio, part of what we did was added. We were lucky enough to hire a really, really talented pastry baker, pastry chef, and who's just has a lot of experience and respect for. She is from the South, moved to California, and moved back home, and she's got a lot of respect for good local fruit, and she knows how to handle it, and that's we've been really lucky. So she's making tons and tons of jam, and it's really, really good, and sorbets and stuff like that we can we can preserve it, hold on to it, and then when we open up in full throttle again, we won't lose the essence of that beautiful fruit, because we've held on to it at the height of its flavor, I think. And so that's what we're trying to do is to get it while it's great now, and then find as many ways to hold on to it, so that when a couple months come down the road and we're all out of figs and blueberries and we're into apples, I guess.
And persimmon.
And persimmon, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, we have plans for you. and so we can hold on to those flavors and really celebrate them kind of throughout the year. And not only can we celebrate them throughout the year, we can start to sell them on the internet, right? Because that's, we're realizing that, frankly, maybe we're not going to have quite a normal holiday this year. And so maybe if we're selling beautiful blueberry jam over the internet, I'm just as happy doing that. I'm happy selling beautiful Georgia blueberries to someone in New Jersey or Idaho, for Pete's sake, than to my neighbors, right? And so that's kind of how we've thought about it, is to say, we're going to invest in this beautiful produce now and be able to do something with it when the market normalizes. And if the market doesn't quite normalize, we're still going to do something with this beautiful fruit that we can share it with people maybe a little further away, is the idea.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
That's kind of how we've approached it, and and really, realistically, the most important thing for us is that we maintain these circuits of sourcing.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. I mean, you guys, I appreciate and acknowledge the amount of pressure that both the farmer and the restaurant owner is under right now, and the local food economy is so important to support, as we see these relationships are a lot of work anyway, frankly, in a system that wants you to kind of cut corners and use wholesalers and things like that. And that's fine for there's not like the middle path is always great. It's like the Zen Buddhist middle path. But in these constrained times, it's great to support people who are trying to work around the constraining of what's happening with COVID. So yeah, I just want to really quickly just say, y'all are both part of Food Fight. For people who don't know what Food Fight is, it's a program that Chris thought up, and it was his baby, and we were so fortunate at Georgia Organics to be asked to become involved in the project. Up to this point, we've raised over $150,000 to help support restaurant industry folks with Food Fight. It is a box program We're calling the boxes family boxes. That includes everything from produce to mushrooms to Chris's wonderful baked bread on a weekly basis to restaurant industry workers who have been furloughed or have seen income, drastically dropped from not being able to have tips, or have altogether been let go of at restaurants. And so just really quickly talk about how that has been for both of you to participate in the program as the farmer, and then Chris as one of the restaurant participants, but also one of the producers as well. And if y'all could just talk about that.
Okay. All right. So quickly from my perspective, it's an honor to be able to help and support the kind of restaurant workers that are in this time. Everyone's struggling, trying to cope, and I'm just happy that I could be a part of it to support. And it's been a benefit to me as well because we were able to kind of source some of our produce. Even though these restaurants that we're selling to are kind of partially closed. So we've actually, it's been a happiness for us to be able to help, and a blessing that we've been able to actually get some benefit from it as well. So we're just happy with the program itself, what we could do.
Yeah, it's been really great. This is a I don't know. This has been really, really special for us. Like I think the way Lauren, you and I have talked about this, I think 100,000 times now, but like maintaining the circuits of a local food system. This COVID thing's not going anywhere anytime soon, and there's still so much pain to come, and it's kind of clear to all of us now, right? And it's like that little bit that we can do for an industry that's really in a tough way right now, and not just an industry, but a couple of industries, because there's all these industries connected to restaurants that you don't think about, and farmers and all these folks that are just affected by this thing. And so the most important thing for us is to say, like, what matters in a community are the circuits of connection between the people that grow beautiful food and the people that work to put beautiful food on plates to serve to their community. And I think that like it's so darn important that when the dust settles on this COVID thing, that these circuits are still strong, and that's where it's been incredible to be a part of this. And like the restaurants are very, very excited about these farm boxes. Like there's like this all this beautiful produce, I can just have this. And
yeah.
And some of these restaurants, some restaurants have been buying from local folks. Some restaurants are probably now going to start buying from local folks now that they've seen this stuff. It's just like, how can I go back to buying figs from California? Like I'm just going to call this person. And I think that's been a really, really wonderful thing. And I'm so pleased that the program has gone on as long as it has, and I hope it goes on even longer, because it's been wonderful to be a part of.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
Y'all make it what it is. Like all of the stuff that you both produce is so beautiful and made with love, and I think that's what these people need in such a many times. So thanks for that. Really quick, okay, tell us how we can support both of you? Where can we find your stuff? And where can Georgia Organics members come support you before we sign off?
So we're in McDonough, and you're welcome to come on the farm. You can do you-pick blueberries. We'll have figs in upcoming weeks as well. And we have a variety of fruits and fresh produce. You can visit our website, narwayfarm.com, to find more information about where we sell and just support the local food system.
Thanks, Russell. Chris,
Yes, absolutely.
You mentioned a farmer's market.
Yeah, we're at the Morningside Farmers Market. We sell bread to Whole Foods. Well, listen, it's okay. We're fine with it. We're fine with it.
It's not from China.
That's, hey, listen, I mean, you've seen our bakery. We're making it,
Yeah.
So we're buying it locally and putting it in Whole Foods. And that's fine. I don't care where they buy it, where folks buy it, our bread. And also, and we are quite proud that we're committed to buying incredible local produce like Russell's, and that shows up in every pastry, and it's all over the place. So yeah, we're happy to meet you wherever and sell that great produce.
Awesome. Chris, we got Chris from Root Baking Company. You can get his stuff. You can get the pastries and the baked goods at Morningside Farmers Market every Saturday. You also have Pizza Jeans on the weekends, right?
Yeah, about to open up. In fact, yeah, and that's another place where you're going to see more Russell stuff. It's on top of pizzas. So
such good
listen.
pizza. Everybody go get it. Curbside pickup at Pond City Market. Russell Bridson from Narrowway Farm. Check out the website. Come you pick some beautiful giant blueberry bushes. Thank you so much for being on this call. We love you.
Such a pleasure. See you both, as always.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, take care.
Russell, I'll call you soon, man. See you, man.
No problem. All right, take
See you
care.
guys.
All right, bye.